Wow. I hate how they only let me have 15 minutes of recording time.
I look like the Grinch.
Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So, as you know, wow, as you know,
okay.
As you know, in my last video that I made, I got a little bit behind, and so we're still on October 11.
Did you tell them what happened?
Yes, I did. So basically, I'm going to do my very best to upload 2 videos a day to try to get caught up. I'm going to try my very best to record and upload 2 videos a day to try to get caught up. Because what's today?
The 15th.
15th. So today's the 15th, and I'm recording video 11. So we have 11, 12, 13, 14, and then obviously 15.
Either way, she's behind. She's gonna get caught back up. We don't have a lot of time.
Good point.
Because her phone's raggedy.
Yeah, just a little bit.
So
today's video is basically about some scary things that have happened to her. Because even though my bedroom started out as that creepy hunty room in the house, it ended up being her room in the very end because, well, I moved out.
It had like a weird period where it was her bedroom, and then I came, and we shared a bedroom for like 0.5 seconds.
Actually, it was a point where it used to be our sister's, and my bedroom was downstairs. And then her bedroom, it was her bedroom. And then it was both of our bedrooms. And then it was just my bedroom. And then we swapped, and it was just her bedroom.
When, I don't remember moving.
You were a baby.
I know, that's why I don't remember moving.
And we both moved into our own other rooms. She kept going back and forth between one room and the other.
Well, no, I didn't start doing that until I was like...
Well, older.
Older, yeah.
Beside the point. But while she was in this room, there was a bunch of stuff that had happened.
Hold on.
And
so, in case you hear my dog whining, she's just in the kennel so that we could film.
Anyways, so there was a handprint on her back because I wasn't home. And I brought her in here because I don't think that I get all of the details because I only have the aftermath part of the story and she has like the details. So I'm just gonna kind of like talk about it a little bit, and then whenever her memory jogs,
I'll interrupt.
Yeah, she'll take over. So I know that there was a time where she had closed the window, and then my dad had seen that the window was open and told her to close the window, and they had like a small little argument because she said that, well, I did close the window, and he was like, well, you didn't because I just went in there and it was open. And then she would go in there, see that it was open, and close it, and then they would have another argument because he went in there to check to see if she had done it, and it was open. So
and the only reason it was like such a big deal is because we used to live in Colorado, and so like in the middle of the summer it gets hot, and so it was always a big thing because I have like the worst memory, so I'd always forget. And this is one of the reasons I remember this so clearly, because it's like you finally remember to do something and you're all proud of yourself, and then they come in and they're like, well, why didn't you do this? And
exactly.
You're like, I did.
Also, so you used the wrong weather. It was cold, not hot. We would open the windows unless we had like the AC going.
Well, either way, I don't remember what season it was, but you know, cold, hot, you would have like either the air or the AC going, so.
But yeah, like she had gone and closed the window at least 3 times, and yet my dad kept coming back saying the window is still not closed. And every time he had to say that, he got even more and more frustrated about it. And it just started this huge argument because she was like, I closed the window. So she was having constant times where she would find that her window was randomly open and she was getting in trouble for it, which tells me that they, being my parents, didn't open them. And she'd asked me a couple times if I had opened it and I hadn't touched it. So,
you remember what bedroom that was in?
yes, it was in your bedroom.
Well, yeah, but
the one that was mine.
Yeah. Okay, it was.
And then there was another time where she was sitting on the floor and I had either just left the room or no, because I had found out about it right as I walked into the room. She was sitting on the floor doing something and she felt this hand on the back of her shoulder, on her right shoulder, and it felt like someone had like nudged her or like pushed her forward. And right after that happened, I opened the door. And so it scared her, and she got up and she was like, oh my God, this happened, you know, whatever. And then she was like, this is what it felt like, and she like did it to me. And I was like, what? And then a couple days later, she had a handprint on her back where that had happened.
Well, I'm sure I had it there the whole time, but I hadn't really noticed that it was there until a few days after. And I don't think I was the one that noticed it. I think you were.
I was the one that noticed it. I think we were going swimming or something. Maybe changing for like,
I don't know,
an event. Or I don't know.
I don't know, but I probably had like a tank top on or something on, and she saw it, and then...
yeah. And I was like, what is that? And yeah. And then there was, I think, one other incident that I can remember that I want to talk about. And then if you have any other things that you remember happening to you, then you can add them in. And this incident, I had already been moved out and I was in my own apartment. And I get messages and phone calls from Ashley, and she's blowing up my phone because everybody has gone to sleep. And she turned her TV off. And she would lay down and go to sleep.
And the main reason I remember turning it off, I went through this whole period where for at least maybe a year, I slept on the couch. And I didn't have a bed. And it was a very big thing for me to finish my room because I took everything out of my room, threw everything away, and completely redid it. Redid the floor, the bed, the walls, the ceiling, everything. Like I painted, made it completely nice, and by the time I finally finished it, I made sure everything was spotless. So, you know, I got ready for bed, and I put the remotes all the way across the room on the stand that I had with the other remote that I had for, I think, I don't know what else it was for, but I remember getting out of bed and putting the remote all the way across the room. So I'm laying down for a minute and I'm on my phone and I'm getting ready to go to bed, and all of a sudden I hear static. And my TV at the time was pretty old. It used to be her old TV. And so what happens is...
But it never had done that to me before.
Well, when you turn the TV on, it goes to static first. And then you have to physically get up and push a button to switch it to the regular TV. And even to turn the TV on, you have to push the button on the TV.
Yeah, because there wasn't a remote. I did not have a remote for it. That's how old it was.
And then the remote controlled like channels and stuff. Like it wouldn't work when you had to turn it on, and we always had a bunch of problems with it. So we always found it easier to just turn the TV on by the button on the TV. And the button was always in the front. It had like, you know, the channels, the volume, all that stuff on the front, on the bottom. And so, you know, I'm getting laid down and I'm ready for bed and the light is off and I hear static. I freaked out. I looked up so quick and I backed up because I knew it was the TV. And I sat there for a minute and I looked for the remote because I was like, okay, well, maybe I just laid on the remote. And couldn't find it anywhere. I swore up and down I just laid on the remote. And when I went to turn the TV off is when I seen the remote next to the TV by like the other side of the room.
Like we had Velcros that we put on the side of the TV specifically so that we would stop losing the remote.
Yeah, but I didn't have that on that. I had it on the stand next to it.
And
but yeah, we always kept it with the TV. Like when we weren't using it, it wasn't on us. Unless we fell asleep with it.
Yeah.
And I just made up my room, so I was like, okay, well, I'm going to keep it spotless. And
keep everything in its home.
Yeah, so I got up and I saw the remote right there, and I just froze. Because I knew there was no way I turned it on.
So she turns it off, lays back down, and is trying to go to sleep, and it comes right back on.
And the button to turn the TV on, it's like a big circle, like that big, maybe. And when you push it, it doesn't go all the way back. It's just like a regular button. Like you push it, and obviously it stops when it's too far back. And then, that's the end of it. Well, the second time the TV turned on, well, let me back up a little bit. When I turned the TV off the first time, I pushed the button. No problem. It was fine. And I laid back down, and I was like, okay, this is fine. I'll just go to bed, forget it happened. And about a minute later, it turned on again. And I really started freaking out because I knew I didn't have the remote because I had just seen it. And I just turned the TV off. So I get up, and I go to turn the TV off, and the button is pushed completely into the TV. You can't even, the button is unusable because you couldn't even push it anymore. So I couldn't turn the TV off. And as I'm trying to push the button and it's not working, I go to turn the light on because I'm like, screw this, I'm not doing this shit in the dark. So I turn the light on, and as I get to the light, which is like, the TV is in like the wall area, and then more towards the wall, like where the door was on the opposite side thing right here, is where the light was. So I'm over there and I'm trying to turn the light on, and I had like the weird thing where you have to turn it on. I don't know if anyone knows what that is, but so I'm using that and I'm turning the light on, and the TV turns off, and there's no button, so I couldn't have done it.
And this whole time, like, it freaked her out, so she was like, okay, I need to call Tot. I need to get her over here. I want her to come over to the house right now. So she's blowing up my phone, and she's telling me what's happening. She calls me crying, and my best friend, Janaea, and we're like, we gotta go. And so we get into the car, and we come over to the house, and when we first got there, nothing was happening. And then as we sat there and was talking and sitting with her, it started happening again. Again.
When I was texting her that whole time, the TV was just going off and on, off and on, off and on.
The whole time.
And about a minute before she had got there, it turned off.
So we are actually running out of time. So we need to either wrap it up or make a part 2.
I guess we'll make a part 2 on my channel then.
Okay, so then I'm going to go ahead and stop the video here. For whatever reason, it's only allowing me 15 minutes for this video. So we are going to continue the story on her channel. So hop on over there to see the end of this. And I will see you guys next time. Bye, guys.
Bye.